Good morning. So this morning we're going to be doing the last section of the chapter. 5.4 is solving problems involving linear systems. So by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to, from a description of a real life problem, set up the equations and then decide, based on the equations themselves, whether you should be solving using using substitution or elimination. So if you haven't done so already, please do the minds on for lesson 5.4 and then check to see if you got it right. So this one asked you specifically to use elimination. So we've got the first one, which is 2x minus 4y equals 8. And we've got 5x minus 4y equals 2. And you might recall that if the signs were the same, then you subtract s, s, s. If the signs are different, you add. So these coefficients are not the same, so we cannot eliminate the x term. But these coefficients are the same, 4, and so we are going to be able to eliminate the y without multiplying anything on either equation. So I'm just going to put a big old line here. I notice the signs are the same, so I subtract. And that's kind of tricky. It's easy to think about it when you have the positive numbers that are the same. 2 minus 2 or 4 minus 4 is 0. But minus 4 minus minus 4, that's a lot of minuses, but minus 4 minus minus is a plus. So minus 4 plus 4 is 0. So 2 minus 5 is minus 3x. This is 0 equals 8 minus 2, which is 6. So pretty easy once you decide it's subtraction. Divide through by negative 3 on both sides, and you get, of course, x equals negative 2. All right, so now, again, you're just going to sub x equals negative 2 into, I don't know, either equation. It doesn't really matter. One's as bad as the other. So let's go into 1. So that's going to be 2x minus 4y equals 8. And 2 times negative 2 minus 4y equals 8. We will end up with minus 4 minus 4y equals 8. Bringing that minus 4 over, we've got minus 4y equals 8 plus 4. Minus 4y equals 12. Dividing both sides through by that minus 4 gives you y equals negative 3. So a possible solution is minus 2 minus 3. We need to check. So I'll just go back up over here. I'm going to check. I have to substitute into both equations, so I'll start with the first one. And we're checking to see if minus 2 minus 3 works. So 2 times minus 3 minus 4, times minus 2, not minus 3, and minus 4 times minus 3 equals 8. Minus 4 plus 12 equals 8. 8 equals 8. Yay, left side equals right side. So I'm just going to write that down. Okay, first one worked. Kind of knew the first one was going to work because that's how we got the y. But now, let's check that other one. That one's a little more important because you might have made a mistake over here when you were figuring out what y equals. And you'll pick it up when you do this part of the check. So 5x minus 4y equals 2. minus 10 plus 12 equals 2. This is 2. And left side equals right side. All right. Therefore, the solution to the linear system is -2, -3. All right, that's the mind's on. Let's get started with the lesson. Okay, so we're going to do a word problem here. The first word problem says tickets for the school play cost $5 for adults and $2 for children. If 256 tickets were sold and the total receipts were $767, how many adults and how many children attended? So the very first thing you always want to do for word problems is you want to declare your variables. So I always, if you're stuck, I always go to the question mark in the question and I look at what's being asked because that's your unknown. And in this case, it's how many adults and how many children attended. So that's what we're going to let our variables represent. So let A represent the number of adults attending. And let C represent the number of children attending. And always remember what your variables represent, or always go back to your let statements if you forget what they represent. So now what we have to do is we have to come up with two equations because we have to create a linear system to solve. So let's see if we can come up with a couple of equations. If we read the question again, it talks about the cost for the tickets. It also tells us the number of tickets. And this total receipts really means your revenue, right? That's the amount of money they received when they put on the play. Okay, so if A and C represent the number of people attending, that really represents the number of tickets that were sold altogether. So I can say A, the number of adults, plus the number of children equals 256. It doesn't equal 767. That has to do with the money. So now the money comes up when you take the ticket price for an adult times the number of adult tickets sold. So that would be 5 times A. So the number of adults attending times $5 will give you the money that was generated by the adults. And if you multiply the number of children that attended by the $2, that's going to give you the revenue for the children. And if you add up those two revenues, you get $767. Now, what you're going to do at this point is you're going to decide which method to use. And I would say the way I've got it set up right now, it looks pretty good for elimination. However, it doesn't look too bad for substitution either, because you could rearrange this so that A is by itself or C is by itself quite easily. So I'm going to say it's up to you. I personally, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do elimination. So I've got my 1 and my 2. I'm going to eliminate the A's by multiplying first number 1 through by 5. Okay, so I'll just write that down. Multiply 1 by 5. So I'm going to get 5A plus 5C plus, or equals, whatever 5 times 256 is. I'm just grabbing my handy dandy phone here. So 5 times 256 is 1,280. And then we've got, so we'll call this 3 now. We still have 2. We didn't change it, so I'm just going to rewrite it underneath. And now we're just going to go ahead and solve. subtract, eliminated. We don't have to write anything. This one is going to be 3C. And this one is going to be 767, 513. These don't look like very nice numbers. Let's hope when we divide through by 3 on both sides that we end up with a nice number. So this is going to be 2, 7. No, sorry, it's not going to be 2, 7. It's going to be 1, 7, 1. Wow, a lot of students attended, or children. So 171 children attended, and let's see if I can erase that because it doesn't look very nice. So 171 children attended, and now let's see how many adults attended. So we can go back to one of our original questions. I would go back to number 1. So sub C equals 171 into 1. So you get A plus C equals 576. And then 2. Goodness gracious. Not 576. 200 and double check that. 256. Sorry, guys. And so now we can substitute in for C. So when we move 171 to the other side, we end up with $85. You don't have to do a check for a word problem. So you're going to say, therefore, 85 adults and 171 children attended the play. Okay, not too bad. So that was using elimination, but you might have gotten the same answer had you used substitution. All right, let's look at the next one. The golf club charges its members an annual fee and a green fee for each golf game played. In 1 year, Bob played 12 games and paid $814. In the same year, Sue played 29 games and paid $1,188. What is the annual fee? What is the green fee? All right, well, as per usual, we go to the question marks, and we can see that we need to find the annual fee, so we'll let A represent the annual fee, and let G represent the green fee. And these are both, because they're fees, in dollars. Okay, so what to do with these? Well, let's think about Bob first. He played 12 games and he paid $814. So remember, the annual fee is just charged once, and the green fee is the charge that you pay every time you play. And a lot of golf courses, private golf courses, do this. Okay, so Bob, it's not part of our equation, but I'll just write Bob. So Bob, he paid an annual fee, I don't know what it is, plus he played 12 games, so 12 games times his green fee, and that cost him $814. So A was the amount that he paid up front, and he paid every time he went. He paid an amount, and he went 12 times. And then Sue, she did the same thing, except she paid an annual fee, I don't know how much, and she only went, well, she went quite a few times, 29 times that green fee every time, and altogether she paid $1,188. So again, I could look at those and decide whether I'm going to do elimination or substitution, and it's set up nicely for elimination, but just to change things up, I'm going to do substitution. So I'm going to isolate the A in the first equation. So A is going to equal minus 12G plus 814. It doesn't matter whether you put the 12G on this side or in the front. So there, I have my first equation isolated, and I'm going to substitute this part into Sue. So sub minus 12G plus 814 into, we'll call it 2, so we'll call this one 1 and this one 2. All right. Where am I putting it? Well, I'm putting it where the A is, right? So I'm going to write minus 12G plus 814 plus 29G equals 1188. So I've substituted this part here in the second one. This is where the A was, right? And then this is the rest of it. Okay, let's make sense of that. We'll just gather up our like terms. So 29G minus 12G is going to be 17G. I'm going to bring that 814 to the other side, change the sign. So I've got 17G. Again, I'm just going to subtract those. And I'm not trusting myself today, so I'm going to just do it on my calculator. 374. I'm going to divide both sides through by that 17, and 374 divided by 17. Fingers crossed that it works out to a nice number, although in this case G represented the green fee. It could have been a decimal answer. So this is 22. I'm going to sub G equals 22 into, let's see, 1 or 2. Does it really matter? I don't think so. Let's put it into 1. So it's A plus 12G equals 814. So I'm going to substitute in 22 for G. It's 264. Going to get A by itself by moving that 264 to the other side. You get A equals $550. So we need to think about what they represented so that we can conclude properly. So it asked us for two things. It asked us for the green fee, and it asked us for the annual fee. So A was the annual fee, so therefore the annual fee, don't forget your dollar sign, is $550, and the daily green fee then is $22. Now you can check, if you have time on your test tomorrow, Friday, you can check each of these answers, right? You just put the A back into each equation and the G, check to see if left side equals right side. Same with the other equation, you check both equations. Okay, so that's it. That's what you do. It's not real difficult, so you're going to go ahead now and do your consolidate, put it on my desk, and then start on the assigned word problems. Thanks for listening.